Hello everyone. I'm Sarita Alamati, working as an architect in subscription order management. Today I'm here to present you the features that we delivered in 2020 FPS 00. So in this session, we will stick to PPTs and we will not have a real live demo. Okay, so, but I try to cover putting all the details here so that you get a fair idea of the feature. Okay. So with that, I'm starting on the feature overview. So these are the list of features that we delivered in 2020 FPS 00. So we reintroduced recurring fees in convergent charging, how to handle recurring fees from convergent charging that will be covered. And then we also reintroduced price version. These two features were also supported in Business Suite and we reintroduced them in S/4HANA. Then I will take you through auto-renewal. So how renewal can be handled at the end of contract expiration. To support the feature device as a service, we have implemented equipment integration. The details of how we integrated, I will explain shortly. Then is the contract change process. There is a feedback from customers that in case of advanced payment scenarios, it is not possible to change contracts. And here we did a level of automation. Dependent items is a very good feature developed by CI team. And we have found a good use case of how this can be used in an end-to-end scenario with partner settlement. Then account split is a topic we introduced in 1909, and in this release, we did an improvement on how mapping tables are created in an account split scenario based on customer feedback again. Then we have improved the solution code API to support additional functionalities from an API perspective. And then on when a subscription product is created, now it is possible to inform an external system on the changes. So these are the major features that we delivered in FPS 00. So I will take you through each of them in detail. So recurring fees in CC and in S/4HANA, when we initially started in 1809 FPS 01, recurring fees we now handle with CI bill plans. So the simple recurring fee scenarios can be handled very well with CI bill plans. But for scenarios where a complex recurring fee calculation is required, or for example, like if a customer is charged recurring fees, a flat recurring fees of $299 per month, but if number of users using the service crosses 100, then a customer need not be charged recurring fee. So here the recurring fee is charged or discounted or calculated differently based on usage-based data, usage data. And this scenario cannot be handled with CI bill plans. So we reintroduced handling of recurring fees from convergent charging. Okay, so the features that we support are like it is now possible when you are maintaining an SD pricing. You can replicate these prices to CC using the framework called DRF, Data Replication Framework, which is used as a framework for distributing master data. Okay, so once this distribution is in place, it checks if the price table already exists for that product. If the price table doesn't exist, then it creates a new price table and create a new entry. So price tables in S/4HANA are not mapping tables. We now are creating agreement tables. For products, the price table names will be same as product names. So for one product, we ideally have one price table. Similar to Business Suite, but there we used to use a GUID, and now we changed it to a name so that it will be easy to relate to. Then during ordering time, like with subscription order or solution quotation, you can maintain a recurring fees, the determined fees. And in S/4HANA, we also introduced handling of manual recurring fees in CC scenarios. Earlier, only the standard fee determined is only supported, and in S4, we now started supporting manual recurring fee, considering API scenarios mainly where most of the times the prices are determined in an external system and sent to SOM. Okay, so in case it is a manual recurring fee, then we have a technique on how to determine the right price table. Reminder algorithm is something which we implemented. So we create a price table, CC price table, and create entries in that. Okay. So then with all these features, now it is possible to support that CC trigger a recurring fee based on a scenario. So what are the steps that needs to be done in the system? On CC side, first we need to create a price table class from the product master setup. From CC side in the system, you need to define a price table class. Then create a charge plan with recurring fee and price key parameter and a price table parameter. You should implement a pricing routine on how a recurring fee needs to be calculated and link it to the charge plan. You create a subscription product. In case the subscription product is a configurable product, then all the configuration model should be in place. Then in CCM mapping, you can map a price key to a condition type. A price key can be a simple price key or a price, or it can also hold a variant alias. Both the normal condition types and variant alias can be mapped to price keys in a cross-catalog mapping. Then we need to maintain prices for recurring fee using SD pricing, both for recurring fee as well as for variant prices. So once this setup is in place, and also we need to define the condition types that are relevant for CC. That is a customizing where we maintain it, the list of condition types. So when you are maintaining a price here in this step, let me take this pointer. So when you're taking a creating a price for a recurring fee, an SD pricing, DRF checks if the condition is relevant for replication to CC based on this customizing, and then this gets replicated to CC. So once the price table is in place and conditions are replicated, now you can start ordering this using these products using a subscription order or solution quotation. Manually, you can even change the price manually, release and accept the contract. Now the price table key is determined. This is determined based on a hash algorithm. Once the price key is determined and the price table is linked, the contract gets distributed to CC and the recurring fee can be determined. Okay, so those are the different steps. So this is how a price table class can look like on CC. It will have a price key, currency, and the amount. And then a price macro will be created on how a recurring charge has to be calculated, and these will be assigned to a charge plan. Both the price table and the price key will be defined and linked to a charge plan. Okay. So from master data perspective, once you create a subscription product, if it is relevant for, if the charge plan has a price key in the interface, then it is possible that we do a mapping. The mapping will be, the price key will be assigned to a condition type. And if a variant alias is applicable, then we can even link a variant alias. Okay, so so this is how a price key parameter will look like in a charge plan. And this price key is now linked to a condition type. So as I told earlier, the price table is now created as an agreement table in CC with the same name as product. When you can maintain the price master data in SD like VK11, VK12. Once the price is maintained, that gets replicated as a price table in CC. It looks like this. It will not be one-to-one, like all records that are there in SD are not replicated as it is. For the key that is part of SD pricing table, there will be a unique key which is generated based on hash key and replicated to CC. Okay, so the same hash key will be regenerated once again when a contract is distributed to CC. Okay, so the price key, whatever is generated during price condition replication to CC can once again be determined during contract determination, and that will be linked to the contract as a price key like this here. Okay, if you have a variant alias, then you will have an additional price key, which is specific to the variant condition record. Okay, and the table can still be same or it can be different. So in case of manual price, when there is a manual price, now we need to, while distributing contract, we also needs to consider distribution of manual price to CC. So here, so for each contract, if we start creating a price table on its own, based on number of contracts, we will end up creating too many price tables. So here we have come up with an algorithm where it can be defined in the system how many agreement tables, price agreement tables can be created based on the contract volume that we forecast. And based on that, the algorithm defines what is the price table, see if this already is created. If it is already existing, then it adds a new record for the particular contract. If the price table doesn't already exist, it first creates a price table and also creates an entry or a record in this table. And this price key table and the price key and the table both get linked to a contract during distribution. Okay, with that, I'm done with the recurring charges in CC. I will now go to next topic, which is price version. So price version is required when for a different segments of customers, if you want to offer a different price, or for the all old contracts, you want to leave it on the old price, but any new contracts created this year, you want to charge a different price. So in those scenarios, price versions will help. And price versions are supported both with CI bill plans and also in a CC scenario. Okay, so once during creation, you can use it. And even if for an existing contracts, if you want to change the price, then you can change price for a price version relevant for contracts of that year, like 2019. And for contracts created in 2020, you can still keep the same. So it is price version mainly helps maintaining a price life cycle in the system independent of the other price version. So you can have two different, for the same product, for the same duration, you can still have two different versions of price or multiple versions of price to support multiple customer requirements. Okay. So here the features are now a price version can be assigned to a subscription product. This is assigned again as the CCM version. And the price, we introduced a new access sequence in the pricing procedure for PSMB, which now also considers a price version. So once on the price master data, you can maintain a price version specific price, and also during ordering time, based on CCM version, a price version will be determined, and a price relevant for that price version will be determined in the order or a quotation. Okay, and this also price version is also supported with recurring in CC. So a price key will be determined because the price version itself is one of the key, and a price key is determined based on price version if a price version exists for a contract. So generally when the contract comes to an end, we need to make a decision that a contract should be extended or it should be terminated. So we basically have two types of contracts in SOM. Few are evergreen contracts, and few are contracts which comes with a contract end date. Generally with solution quotation, we have a default setting that it comes with a contract end date. And when a contract is created from a subscription order, the default functionality is we work without a contract end date. But in both these scenarios, we see a need why a contract extension needs to be triggered in time. In the first case with contract end date, with a contract end date, contract will go inactive and the contract is cancelled, and it is not possible to renew this contract if extension is not triggered before an expiration date. But in case of evergreen contracts, these contracts will be running and stay active even if a contract end is reached, but revenue accounting system won't be informed right in time. So for that reason, we introduced a feature called Auto-Renewal. So how this feature works is define Auto-Renewal in a subscription product. So at the product level, we can define whether during product modeling, we can define whether Auto-Renewal should be supported for such a product or should not be supported. We have three different options. One is do not support Auto-Renewal. One is to say it's mandatory to auto-renew. And the third option is by default, it is possible to support auto-renewal, but during ordering time, user can decide whether auto-renewal should be allowed or not allowed based on customer requirement. So whenever auto-renewal is a default setting, while ordering time in the subscription item, we can change this behavior. We can even change how many days before a contract expiration the auto renewal has to be triggered. And yeah, it's kind of a pre-agreement while ordering for a service. You also define what should be the renewal duration, and then and how many days before before an expiration you need to auto renew a contract. But if in the later point in time during the contract run time, if customer changes his mind to change these settings, it is still possible by executing the auto renewal change process. These are the features that are supported for auto renewal. So here, if we have, like, this is a sample of how it works. This is an evergreen contract with contract end date set like this, or sometimes it can be a contract with a defined contract end date. In both the cases, you can still set up an auto renewal, and based on the contract, it will either set the contract end or contract end of term. So yeah, so on the product, you can define one of these parameters for auto renewal. No auto renewal by default and can be changed in the contract. So with this setting, it is possible at ordering time, you can change these settings. But it depends on use case. If I, for example, I have, if I subscribed for a, service like a Netflix, and if I have taken a subscription for 3 months, I get a message saying you will be auto renewed, and if you do not want to continue end of the term, I need to inform them. So this is a scenario where auto renewal is mandatory, and if a user do not want to auto renew at the end of the term, they need to raise a request to cancel a contract. And it can be in a different service where it's for the learning content, where I subscribe for 3 months and I'm informed that okay, at the end of subscription you need to request for extension, otherwise it won't be auto renewed. So this is the case where I have to at the end of contract term, I need to remember and inform them in time if I want an auto renewal. Okay, so to support these various scenarios, we have introduced these various options here based on how a service provider want to offer. He can define this during product modeling. So if default setting is can be changed from ordering, then in the solution quotation in a subscription item, I can go to this assignment block auto renewal, where I can change this auto renewal required or not required, and also how many days before an expiration date auto renewal should be triggered, and what will be the extension duration. So once the auto renewal is executed, then the contract end date gets changed from 2020 to 2021 if the extension is executed for 1 year. So as I said, like during the contract runtime, if a user thinks, or if a customer thinks he don't want to go with earlier agreement, he wants to change the settings, it is still possible by executing a change process, change of auto renewal indicator. This is an ISTF change process. This is ISTF because this change is only specific to subscription contract and not relevant for any updates on to FICA contract or CC. So this change process is implemented as ISTF. Here you can change the settings and you can submit. Also, like product change, because the auto renewal settings itself is in subscription product. When you are changing a product from product A to product B, the earlier settings might not fit. So to support that scenario, we introduced a new tab called contract durations, where it is possible to change the settings during product change. So devices as a service is a feature which is mainly for SaaS customers, where the device is comes with a subscription fee, but customer as such needs to worry only about this one contract and its subscription. But complete life cycle or any maintenance of the device, everything will be managed by the service provider himself. To support this scenario, we have developed equipment integration in 2020 FPS 00. So the features are on how equipment can be linked to contract, and equipment is created, or equipment numbers as such are generated in different ways. Either these are upfront generated, or only when the device is shifted to customer location, the equipment IDs gets generated. So we want to support both the scenarios. If you know the equipment details upfront, you can link them. Or if these details comes later, then we also have a possibility to link them later. And it is also possible to start a billing of such a contracts in a later point in time when once the equipment is active. So this feature is supported. And equipment ID from a CC perspective is replicated as a technical resource. So whatever equipment IDs are maintained will be used as technical resource when CC is relevant. And it is also possible to replace equipment A with equipment B. And if a customer is happy with the devices and he wants more devices, he can order more by scaling up the equipments. So here is a sample product where we have a subscription product which comes with two parts, which is like a sales. So the device as such will be sold as part of this bundle. And how a usage is recorded for this. Okay, so when such a product is considered, there is a new assignment block called object list, where you can already assign equipments IDs if you know them upfront, and these will be copied as a technical resource by using the technical resource is set up such a way that whenever an equipment is linked, this gets replicated as a technical resource in the system. Okay, so here is a setting like we have the technical resource type, which is of type category equipment, and then it will be considered. So the first scenario is you have equipment details already, you are linking them upfront. But there can be a scenario where only once the sales item is delivered and an equipment is active, that's when I know my equipment details. So for this, we introduced two new steps in ODI. The first step gets executed when the successful delivery happens and the post goods issue is delivered. So in this case, then the equipment IDs will be updated onto contract. And once the equipments are active, installed, and these are operational, once the equipment status is updated in the database, that's when the next event gets triggered, which then activates the equipment and sets a billing request date. Okay, so if the billing request date is set from here, then only from that date, customer will be charged. Okay, but from the time the contract or an order is requested till equipment activation, there can be a month or two. Because if there are multiple equipments, it may take time until these are delivered and these are active. But revenue accounting might need to know that this contract exists, and it will be billed from 1 month or in 2 months. So in this case, it makes sense to distribute this contract early to FICA so that revenue accounting will be informed in time. So in this scenario, it is now possible to first early distribute the contract, but it won't be active in the system. Once the equipment is added and the equipments are active, that's when the real distribution of a contract gets distributed, which now distributes to both FICA and CC. So billing start date, whenever the billing start date is in the day types itself, we can already set it like it's 2 months from actual start date, or on all the equipments are activated. Based on the customizing, the billing start date will be calculated, and in the bill plan, it will be updating the term from date here. Okay, so only from that day, customer will be charged for that service. So I showed you 2 ODI steps, one to update the equipment details. Once the delivery happens, then there is an event which will update the subscription contract with the equipment details. Okay, so these are the details of or technical details of how subscription contract will be informed of these equipments. And this is the one where the equipment, once the equipment is active, once the database is updated with the right status, that's when the next event gets triggered, which sets the billing start date and also trigger distribution of contracts to FICA and CC. So only from this time on, the contracts will really be active and customer will be invoiced. So once the contracts are active and these are in use, and if there is any fault with one of the equipments, it is possible to replace such an equipment with another equipment by changing the equipment details in the contract. The scale up and the down equipment. So you ordered for 10 and you want to increase it or decrease the number of equipments that you need. In this case, it is possible to execute it. It's very similar to quantity change process, but in this case, there will be an additional assignment block called change object list, where you can remove whatever devices you don't need and add whichever is new. So that is about the device as a service. So the next feature is about contract changes with payments in advance. So we delivered a feature of handling recurring charges with CI bill plans. So customer will be, a bill plan gets created for the contract. And based on the bill cycle, the customer is charged. Like if the bill cycle is monthly, customer is charged each month. But there are customers who give an option to make advanced payments. That is, if you pay 1 month, for the complete year upfront, then you may get certain discount. So in such a scenario, when the payment is made in advance, there is an invoice created and settled by the customer. But now a customer has come back to execute some change onto the contract. Think he did not like the service and he wants to cancel a contract. It was not possible earlier because there are bits which are billed and invoiced against a CI bill plan. But CI team has built a feature to even reverse and re-request bits, even if they are billed and even if they are invoiced. But still, this is more a manual step to go reverse the bits, execute the change and re-request bits. So this feature is now automated. Now, when a change is requested for a contract with advance payment, system will automatically reverse the bits for the period of change, execute the change, and re-request bits based on the time slices that are applicable. And this feature works only with CI bits and With CC, this is still not supported. Okay, so this is how we, when we execute a change to a contract with advanced payments, we used to receive such an error that there are already billable items for a contract. So now we introduced automatic reversal. So how it works, like when a change is requested on a contract, the old bill plan item will be delimited until the end of change, and a new bill plan item gets created. The old bit that is requested is reversed, and a new bit with reference to the first bill plan item is created until 14th. So till the time when there is change is executed on 14th. So until end of 14th, the first bill plan item is active. And for new change, like we basically executed change of quantity in this sample. So when the change of quantity is executed on 15th, starting from 15th, there is a new bill plan item here. From 15th, the first bill plan item is delimited until 14th, and the second bill plan item is from 15th until 2021. So in this case, old bit is completely reversed, change is executed, which delimited the first bill plan item, and the new bill plan item is created. For the old time, there is a bit which is already requested against the old item, and additional bit with respect to the new bill plan item is triggered. Okay, so now the quantity is changed, so the price is also changed. And the first one is for the from 1st of January till 14th of July. The amount is calculated and the bit is created accordingly. Okay, so for this we have ODI steps for bit reversal, which will reverse the bits. Once the bit is reversed, the change is executed, the contract is successfully distributed, and again there is an additional ODI step which will re-request bits. So this functionality is managed with introducing additional ODI steps, once for reversal and once for re-requesting of bits. Then the next topic is about dependent items. So I'll check if so dependent items is a feature delivered by CI team. So when the original bill plan items are created or bits are created, it is possible to also create a dependent bits in the system. So we like this feature and thought it's a very good fit for partner settlement scenarios with CI bill plans. A partner settlement is a scenario where a partner needs to receive royalty, right? So when a customer makes payment and we receive a revenue, a share needs to be given to a partner. With CC, we used to manage this by having a partner product, by having a partner charge plan, partner agreement on SOM side, and there is an assignment of partner reference in a customer charge plan. So that's how, like in a customer charge plan, when you have a reference to a partner product or a partner agreement, we used to understand there is a partner linked to this transaction, and we used to create partner bits to share the revenue. But with CI bill plans, now we need not have to create all this additional master data like a partner charge plan, partner product, and a partner agreement, even transaction data like partner agreement. All this can be managed differently. So now you need to assign a dependent item type to a subscription product. This is not a partner product, just a customer subscription product, to which we can now assign a dependent item type. And during contract distribution, this dependent item type gets assigned to a bill plan. And when bits are requested, for customer bits are requested, a partner bits gets automatically created in the system. Okay, it goes in this sequence. So first in the master data, when a subscription product is modeled during the product modeling, we can assign a dependent item type to the product. When the order is created and submitted during distribution, this dependent item type is determined and passed to the bill plan. And finally, when the bits are created in CI, dependent bits also for the partner are created. And this is definitely not specific to partner settlement. The dependent bits can be created in different scenarios. And one use case is partner settlement. So in manage subscription product specific data, we can have, we can assign a dependent item type. This is one of the blocks there where you can assign a dependent item type. So when that product is used in subscription contract, when a bill plan is created, the dependent item type gets linked to the bill plan. So here you can see the original bit. This is the customer bit. When the customer bit is created, it is also possible to create a dependent bit. So here there is customizing how a dependent item type is determined. And when a dependent item type is applicable, how a respective partner, business partner contract account, and how this amount is calculated. Maybe end of this, I will show you that customizing. I somehow missed that slide here. Next is subscriber tables in account split. So we have delivered account split functionality in 1909 release. Account split is basically to improve the performance on CC side if for a same subscriber, if there are multiple contracts, how performance with respect to rating can be improved. So this feature was introduced, then there is a feedback from customer that every time we redefine a mapping table, we always create an agreement table. From our order, when we redefine a mapping table or a range table, we are creating agreement tables instead of creating a subscriber mapping tables. But this can still be subscriber mapping tables because these are object specific tables. When you are redefining from an order or a quotation, this becomes very specific to that order only and cannot be reused. By creating too many agreement tables per contract, it may also lead to performance issues. So in 2020 release, we now create subscriber mapping tables for objects instead of object specific agreement tables. So this is how it was. From a product, when you, from a product manager role, when you are modeling your products, you can redefine your tables. This creates an agreement table because this can be reused. But when you're even creating it from a master agreement redefining, this also needs to be reused. It still creates agreement tables. But when in a subscription order, when you're redefining, this becomes very specific to that contract and has no option to reuse. And in this case, now we create a subscriber mapping. Here, this solution quotation API is as such supported from 1909 itself, but now we have enhanced it to support variant configuration. So from an external system, now it is possible to maintain variant configuration data. And this data will be stored in the DB and it will not go through real configuration validations or anything. Okay, so variant configuration as such is supported, but it won't go through the usual validations that whether the characteristic and a value exist in the system or not. It will not check. It will just take these fields and store it in database and used for follow-up processes. And also a few more fields are added in subscription item. And it is also now possible to transfer CC parameters and mapping tables using solution quote API. And once the quotation is created and accepted, now it is possible to also read the contract number, FICA contract number with respect to that particular quotation. So this is a sample of how the payload can be. When you have a configuration to be passed, you can pass the characteristic and its values. And also along with the characteristics and values, if a price is dependent, the surcharge is dependent on a characteristic values, those also needs to be sent along with the configuration data. So the varcont values and along with its respective variant key needs to be sent to through the API interface. Only then the right surcharge will be determined in the system. Okay, that is about configuration. So it shows what are the additional fields that are part of this API here, that it is now possible to maintain CC parameters and mapping tables. And this is a link to API Hub documentation for API. SOAP API is introduced in 2020 and to support replication of subscription product specific data to any external system. Once again, this feature is dependent on DRF. Data replication framework. So when the data is updated, it is possible through DRF to send this data out to an external system using this new SOAP service, subscription product replication request out. And with the DRF, it is not that we can only distribute changes to one external system. We can distribute the changes to multiple external systems. And how the distribution failures, etc., can be monitored from AF monitor. So these are the important links with respect to the features. So now I'm done with the presentation. I would like to show you dependent item type customizing. So this is a customizing related to dependent item types, which I thought of sharing. Yes. So in dependent item type, customizing, all this customizing is on CI side. Just I thought of discussing it in a little more detail here. So dependent item type can have a reason. So in case of a CC scenario, we used to have how a pricing needs to be calculated, like how much of a revenue share should be given to a partner used to be part of a pricing routine, part of a partner charge plan. Right here, instead of that, we have a calculation assignment here where it says like 5% has to go to a partner based on the customer data. Okay, so the calculation key will be linked to a dependent item type reason and dependent item type is assigned to a reason. So when a dependent item type is assigned to original bit, then what should be the bill plan item, billable item type, etc. is a customizing here based on the reason, dependent type and the reason. Okay, so this is one part, like how a price is determined. The second part is the details, like who is this partner and what is its corresponding contract account, and all these details used to be part of a partner agreement. So instead of a partner agreement, we can still use partner agreement, but we have something called a master data ID, which is linked to a combination of dependent item type and reason. So here we can directly maintain who is the partner and its corresponding contract account. Here we can see the contract. This can be a partner contract here. So it's an optional step now. It is still possible to link a partner agreement, but without a partner agreement, without a partner specific product, we are now able to manage partner settlement in a CI scenario.